It's now time to map the push support into the client side. To do that, we need to implement the push callback interface in the main class of our app. We can only implement push callback in the main class, nowhere else. Register push should be invoked with every launch to refresh the push key, as it might change. We use call serially to defer this, so we don't block the start method. The push method is invoked with the text of the push. In that case, we call the refresh method to update the UI. We'll discuss that method soon. The device ID isn't the push key. It's the OS native push value. Normally, you would have no need for it, as it's here for compatibility only. The push key value is only guaranteed once this callback is invoked. If the push key changed since the last time, we update the push key in the server. We'll cover this method soon. There isn't much we can do in the case of an error, so right now I only log it. In some cases, you can show a UI notification, but make sure not to do it from this method, as it's invoked early in the app launch cycle, and that might impact the UI in odd ways. Just store the error details and show a notice later on. Next, we need to cover the server API changes and refresh method. We'll start with the former in the signup or login method of the server API. We need to invoke register push after the successful login. This is important for the first time the user logs in to the app. Next, we need to map the update push key method. This is just a simple call with one argument. We return a Boolean value to indicate that the call worked. That's it. UI controller needs a bit of work too. First, we need to add a field for the main form instance. This will allow us to refresh the main form as notifications come in. The method is now updated. This method is now updated with the new main field so we can refresh the UI. Refresh delegates into the main form instance. It's possible that the push method is invoked before loading completed, so main would be null. In that case, this isn't a problem since main would be created with fresh data anyway. Again, with main form, we need to take fields that were in the constructor before and move them to the class level so we can refresh them. Once we went through that, with the refresh method is easy. If we are currently viewing the newsfeed and we aren't minimized, a refresh might create a bad user experience. If we are minimized or in a different tab, we can refresh the UI immediately. This refresh method is from infinite container. The same logic applies to the notification code. This method shows a toast bar, offering the user a refresh if he taps the toast bar. We use this to prompt the user instead of refreshing automatically. With that, push should work and refresh when applicable.